Hello, I'm Greg Martin, State Representative for House District 26 in Hamilton County. Thank you for joining me for this week's legislative update. You know, this week I'm doing something a little bit different in that I have the Secretary of State with us today, Mr. Hargett. And this is a week when we're having early voting and elections, a lot of conversations about that, which the Secretary of State's office does. And Secretary was elected to the state legislature in '96, was elected to the Secretary of State in 2009 by the state legislature.
Yes,
Many Tennesseans maybe are not aware that there's really only one statewide office for state government that's elected.
Just the governor.
Just the governor. It's not like that in Georgia, Mississippi, or some of the bordering states. And so we are so proud to have you with us, Mr. Secretary, to talk about election integrity and voting, because that's what's going on all over the state right now. And so I wanted to ask you just a few questions to help people in my district understand the importance of voting. Tennessee was ranked #1 for voting integrity out of all 50 states, which that's congratulations to you and others. What have we done? What have you done? What has the legislature done to get us that prestigious award?
Well, we're #1. We follow the laws that you passed. So that's really what's key here. And in Tennessee, you know, we have a photo ID law that has withstood judicial scrutiny on multiple occasions. We don't allow drop boxes or ballot harvesting. You know, in Tennessee, you have to request an absentee ballot, so we don't just mail you an absentee ballot. You have 14 different reasons, one of which you can send in to the local election commission. We check your signature. That matches up. We send you an absentee ballot, which is watermarked, which is one more way we have to make sure it's not counterfeited.
Awesome.
We also, you know, you're responsible for your own absentee ballot, so you have to mail that back in. We don't have drop boxes, and certainly not unsecured drop boxes somewhere. And one of the things that we do also, thanks to you and your colleagues, is we don't allow outside funding of election administration. You passed a law that prohibits what some people call Zuckerbucks, or what the Center for Texas Civic Life gave in grants back during the pandemic. And so we don't want anybody putting their thumb on the scale of election administration. So only in a very extreme circumstance could I accept those dollars, and I'd have to have the Speaker of the House and Lieutenant Governor sign off on something to allow me to do that. If your local election commission down in Hamilton County, Scott Allen and them doing a great job down there, if they wanted to do that, I'd have to sign off on it. So really strong restrictions there. But our real strength is the fact that we have bipartisan election commissions. And Democrats keep an eye on Republicans, or Republicans keep an eye on Democrats. They program machines together. They check voters in together. They count the votes together throughout the process. Democrats and Republicans are working together. And they're your neighbors down in Hamilton County. We don't bring them across the line from Georgia. We certainly don't bring them in from Russia, North Korea, Iran, China, anywhere else. I mean, these are the people you see at church, you see them at the bank, you see them at football games. They're your neighbors who run these elections.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So, you know, Mr. Secretary, when the average voter goes in, and we would encourage people to vote early now, that's going on right now. When they go in and they get their ballot from the lady or the gentleman there, and they show their ID, they get the ballot, they fill it out, they put it in the machine. What happens to that ballot? Where does that ballot go? Walk us through that.
Well, sure. Well, when they vote, after they vote, that ballot then falls into a drop box, a secured drop box or ballot box, I should say, that both parties have keys to. They have to do that at the same time. I mean, both parties have a seal on it. So if either one of those seals are cut, then that tells you that ballot box might have been tampered with. So that's something very important. And those are transported back to the local election commission. And then throughout the process later on, they are certified. So anything you see on election night is unofficial. There's still a certification process that the bipartisan election commission goes through to make sure that every vote was counted, that all the numbers match up. And now, and Hamilton County was one of the first counties to do this, is having the verified paper audit trail, that now all 95 counties through the state, thanks to you and the governor, are going to have that. So Hamilton County has been very instrumental in making sure we were able to roll that out through the rest of the state.
Well, Hamilton County is always proud to be leading in a lot of different areas. You know, here we are in this season of people voting early, and of course we've got the big election coming up in November.
Yours.
Well, yeah, well, but not just mine. I was talking about something else. But sometimes there's voter apathy and people don't vote. What are the 2 or 3 reasons that you see why people don't vote and what we can do to change that?
You know, I think sometimes people think their vote doesn't matter. And they're thinking, well, gosh, there's going to be millions of votes cast. My vote's not going to decide who the next president of the United States is going to be. And I can't guarantee you that it's going to be a deciding vote in a U.S. Senate race or the presidential race. What I can tell you is we've had judicial races that have ended in ties, school board races have ended in ties. Legislative races have been decided by a handful of votes, and in fact, a congressional race a few years back decided by less than one vote per precinct.
Wow.
What I can promise you is that when you don't go vote, you are turning over the keys of power to government to those that do. And so if I tell people, hey, if you don't want to go vote and you want me to have more power, I'll take that. But I think we're all better off if we go vote our own values. But I think people think their vote doesn't matter, or they believe this narrative that it's hard to vote, that it, and in fact, it's never been easier to vote than it is right now in the state of Tennessee. We say easy to vote, hard to cheat.
Love
and,
that.
and I just want people to understand that we count every vote once, no more, no less. And you've got to go and make your voice heard at the polls.
Well, thank you, Mr. Secretary, for joining us. Thank you for those
Thank you,
good
Representative.
words. And I would just say to the people in our community in Hamilton County, get out and vote early. Early voting ends on what day?
The 27th.
The 27th of February, and Election Day for this primary
March
is
5th.
March the 5th. So we need everyone to get out and vote, regardless of your party affiliation. Thank you so much. If you have comments or you have suggestions or things that you think are important that I need to be aware of, please email me at the address below. Thank you for the privilege of serving you here in the State House, and may God bless you and your family, and God bless our great country.